Hello, you're very welcome. So my name is Jamie Smith. I'm a communications consultant. I'm originally from the UK and now I'm living and working in Sweden. So I'm very excited to be moderating this session. We're combining three prominent innovation hubs that are working together to make life easier for life science and digital health entrepreneurs, just like you. So in this 1 hour session, we're going to show you a lot of videos. We're also going to examine how Swedishness, innovation systems, and sector convergence are all working together to make Sweden an ideal destination for developing digital health solutions. So more specifically, we'll look at why you, as an entrepreneur, should establish here rather than anywhere else. Then we'll take a look at how you can do that and how entrepreneurs are made to feel welcome in the Swedish innovation system. And then we also want to highlight the impact of sector convergence, which is having a lot of impact on the life science industry and digital health at the moment. So then after we've discussed these areas, these high-level areas, then we're going to take a closer look at three exciting Swedish innovation hubs that are collaborating closely to make things easier for companies from outside Sweden and also inside Sweden to establish a presence here. So then, after you've done all that, we're going to end up with a Q&A session. So please feel free to submit your questions via the chat function in Hopin. So we'd love to hear from you, get your comments, get your questions, and to see if there's any way we can help make your journey towards Sweden easier. So to help us navigate this journey, we're actually joined by an eminent panel of representatives from the innovation hubs. So if we start in the south of Sweden, so Anders Persson, he's from Skåne. Hi, Anders.
Hi, Jamie.
Anders is a digital transformation lead in AstraZeneca's digital health R&D team, and he's also a member of AstraZeneca's BioVentureHub. So next, we have Lotta Ljungqvist. So she's based in Uppsala, which is in the east of Sweden. Lotta. And Lotta is CEO at the Cytivia-owned Testa Center, which is a test bed for the production of biological products. And last but not least, we've got Annika Grimberg-Lignell. She works in Gothenburg, which is in the west of Sweden. Hi, Annika.
Hi, everyone.
Annika, she's the head of the Business Accelerator program at Salgrenska Science Park, which is an open arena in life science. Great, so we're all excited about this session, and we want to welcome the panel, and to everyone tuning in, you're very welcome. That's actually what this is all about. It's about making you feel welcome in Sweden. Okay, so with that, I'd like to kick it off, and Lotta, maybe we can ask you first. So what are your thoughts on why an entrepreneur with a good idea relating to life science should establish in Sweden?
Well, Sweden is a very innovative country, so I guess the question is why not? Sweden is ranked as the innovation leader in EU and ranked second in the Global Innovation Scorecard, and is investing more than 3% of its GDP into research, which makes it one of the top 5 countries in OECD in terms of research investment. It also has a number of universities, so 5 universities are ranked in the top 200 global university rankings. So research is one good example, reason why. The other is, I think, our early adopter way of working. We're really early adopters into tech innovations, and with a population of about 10 million inhabitants, we are a good country to start piloting your new technologies and services. You can also find a lot of big science infrastructure facilities in Sweden, with Max4, ESS, and SciLife Lab as a few examples. Max4 is a Swedish laboratory providing scientists with the most brilliant X-rays. So Max4 is really making the invisible visible. And together with ESS, the European Spallation Source, you can find sort of all ways to look at structures and materials and molecules, both the surface and the inside. And that's applications both for biology, for physiology, physics, for material sciences, for academic and for industrial use.
Great.
So the third example is SciLife Lab, which is a national life science infrastructure with technologies and expertise in the most advanced technologies for life science. With more than 200 research groups, they generate a lot of data. And in October 2020, the Knut and Alice Wallenberg Foundation donated more than 3 billion Swedish kronas into data-driven life science, a large program that combines the investment into data science, AI, and machine learning with the life science industry. And this focus now on precision medicine and diagnostics, cell and molecular biology, evolution and biodiversity, and also the epidemiology and infection biology. So research has a strong foundation in Sweden, which results in a very innovative country.
Great, fantastic. Thanks. Anders, what else can you add to that? So why should an entrepreneur?
I think it was a very comprehensive summary by Lotta, and I think I love the way you started. Why not? And just to give you a couple of more examples, there are several factors why not. One is that we have structures for both deep and broad collaborations, and I think yes, us three being here is a great example of that. We don't look upon ourselves being competitors, where it's more about collaboration and companionship. And why is that? Well, it's basically built upon that part of the Swedishness is around trust and the genuine willingness to collaborate. It comes with our heritage. It's always been there. We've been a small country, only 10 million. Lotta said it's about 10 million people in Sweden. So we know each other, and also in order to make a footprint and make a stamp in the world, we need to collaborate, and we need to create partnerships. And this goes all the way up to the top, because last year the Swedish government signed off on a national strategy for life science, which underpins this. So there is a strong national coordination focusing on life science, and it is about that basically ensures that there is a united direction for life science, and not shying away from that this is complex, but unless and if we don't do it together, we won't succeed. You can't do it on your own. And to some extent, it also goes beyond Sweden. And this is also reflected in life science strategy about the opportunities and of partnerships across the Nordics as well, which is equally important. And last thing I would like to add here is also that we have a strong tradition of collaboration between the industry and academia. And I think what Lotta said, the example of the Knut and Alice Wallenberg Foundation, is a very recent announcement of putting even more money into the life science ecosystem is a great example of that.
Wonderful. Annika, so what do you think Sweden has to offer digital health entrepreneurs?
Well, there's so much great things already said by Lotta and Anders. So what is there else? The innovation system we have in Sweden is very well equipped to nourish and develop innovations and ideas, regardless where they come from, whether they come from the industry itself or from the academia or from the research. And we have in Sweden a very unique system that the research, if an idea comes from the researcher, that is actually a possibility for the researcher to develop that idea into a company. And I think that is very unique. but also that we work very closely with all type of industries. So we're not only looking at an invention in health and life science as isolated. We actually try to look at these as coming from different angles from other industries, trying to also develop this innovation. So I think that by that said, coming to Sweden is where you can actually broaden and actually maybe also invent another new idea instead of just having the one you came for. So Sweden is the place to actually accelerate your inventions.
Cool, fantastic. And I understand there's a film that there's a cool company.
Yes, and by that said, we as Salgrenska Science Park, we have one of our inventions, and that is vectorized move, and we would like you to see how you can come from different angles and from different places in the world and actually come together in one place and do great stuff.
So gait, or the manner of walking, has been a standard biomarker for many generations for doing many different things. For example, mobility disorders such as Parkinson's or dementia or MS or bone or muscle injury, orthopedics, or when you have a stroke. The effect of all of those things shows up in walking, right? But then you wonder, if walking is such a fantastic way of measuring these things, why is it that it's not very widely used? And the reason for that is because, like, for example, if you wanted to measure the heart or the brain, you have all this medical technology that can measure you while you are sitting in one place. But when it comes to walking, by definition, you have to move, and the technology has to move with you. And that is where the problem lies, because it has always been restricted to a clinical environment, which is highly controlled. But that's not where we live, and that's not where we walk, and that's not where we move. It was during the summer of the third year of my PhD at Halmstad University when I was first struck with this idea. But it was very conceptual, so we demoed it to the whole lab, and everyone got super excited. The innovation advisor Hans-Erik walked up to me and asked, "So Sid, what are you going to do with this? If you really care about your patients, then you're going to make it into a product." At the end of the day, it should be something that when it goes to a patient, all they have to do is just press start and stop. Could we make it simple enough? So Walkbeat is just like heartbeat. It gives you a pattern that shows you the rhythm of walking. So for example, when something happens to you, such as a mobility problem, then you become more arrhythmic. And that shows up in the pattern as a deviation, which gives you a very objective way to monitor the original problem that happened in any environment as often as you want within seconds. That is the power of Walkbeat. So we have developed these sensors that you can put on your legs that collect your walking information. And then the magic is done in the cloud. And then you have a mobile device that you can carry around wherever you are and watch that results. But the best part is that you can watch it online while you're doing the activity anywhere in the world within seconds. So I always believe that if you want to do something, you should be where the magic happens. So since we wanted to do work with humans, we wanted to be at Salgrenska Science Park because it's focused on that application area of medical technology. But there have been so many in the Swedish innovation system that have pitched in to bring Walkbeat to life. Halmstad Business Incubator, Almi, Tillväxtverket, Chalmers Innovation Office, they've all helped in building the business and with innovation checks. And then Vinnova grants were always our guardian angels and kept us going. So I think that what an entrepreneur needs is great team, great timing, a fantastic innovation that can possibly affect 1 billion lives on the planet, and a little bit of luck. And that is what makes the magic of an entrepreneur.
Wonderful. Wow. It's Vectorized Move. I think is a really exciting company, and it's fantastic how they've navigated the innovation system. They've taken bits and pieces from different places in Sweden, and they've got a really exciting concept. So thanks for sharing that, Annika. So we talked a little bit about the why entrepreneurs should move to Sweden. So let's move on to how. So some of the practical details. So Anders, maybe if you can kick us off this time. So how can entrepreneurs from outside Sweden, how can they access the system, and what are the concrete ways in? How are they made to feel welcome?
Besides contacting the three of us, or four of us, that's probably the easiest one. But seriously, I would like to take the opportunity to, if I may, to bring two concrete initiatives here. One is that I'm taking on the AstraZeneca hat here now. We actually have an innovation program called CoSolve, which is a new global, and it's virtual also in the era of the pandemic. It's an open innovation challenge where we bring forward dilemmas, or where we are seeking to find finding new collaborations who can help us create the next wave of medicines or innovations that help transform patient lives. So those ones will be coming up with regular intervals, so that's something to watch out for. The other one is, we already touched upon it earlier a few minutes ago, about the Knut and Alice Wallenberg's Foundation announced that they're going to spend more than 3 billion Swedish crowns, which in today's exchange rate is around $400 million on data-driven life science. The aim of this program is to build broad expertise, and so we can meet the future need of researchers. And I would like to bring up a practical example, because in the BioVentureHub, we have a company that where the founder was actually supported by previous funding from the Knut and Alice Wallenberg Foundation. And that's Emma Lundberg. She's an entrepreneur. She's a professor at the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm. She spent a number of years working at Stanford, and while she was at Stanford, she founded a company called Mindforce Game Lab, which I think is a great example about the topic we're going to talk later in a few minutes about, which where you bring different disciplines together to come up with transformative ideas. So why don't we take a couple of minutes and listen to Emma and her crew about what they're up to. So here comes the Mindforce Game Lab.
Hi, my name is Emma Lundberg, and I'm the founder of Mindforce Game Lab. Medicines will not work if you do not take them. Despite this, only every other person takes their medication as prescribed. This is a fundamental problem for chronic diseases, including mental health.
Today out there are a lot of products that help people with bipolar diagnosis, depression, etc. It helps them with their extrinsic motivation, meaning there are reminders, notifications, pill boxes, digital pill boxes that are there to remind me that I need to take my medication. At Mindforce Game Lab, we are unique because we use extrinsic motivation, but most importantly, we use intrinsic motivation. And we do that through having our patients play a game.
Say hi to Fig. Fig is an alien that just crashed on an unknown planet. Fig needs to take medication, and so do you. A perfect start for companionship. Visualize your progress by building a magical home. Experience and learn how routines such as sleeping, eating well, and exercising regularly together with your medication will improve your well-being.
One of the core ideas at Mindforce is to use machine learning and AI to nudge our patient into a healthy behavior. And we do that by tracking data over time to understand where in the curve of their disease are they.
Fig is CE marked and registered as a medical device. Come join our journey to build the first ever game for supporting medication adherence and transforming healthcare.
In the end, our patients don't want to be reminded that they are sick. They don't want to feel alone. They want to feel like they're part of something bigger.
Wow, wonderful. It's very cool with their patience. I like the concept that they developed there, gaming and healthcare together, and they've come up with the word patience. So very, very cool company. Thanks, Anders. Annika, do you have anything to add on how entrepreneurs can make to be feel welcome?
I think that the whole system we have in Sweden is a welcoming system. When it comes to grants, for instance, in Sweden, when you are an innovator, you can ask for grants for developing your ideas, and these are open for everyone. If you are in an incubator or are in an innovation holder. So this is where I emphasize that the Swedish system is so unique and we work so closely together. So whether you come and join either Salgrenska Science Park or you join anybody else, we will always make sure that you will stay and be nourished in the place where you have the most opportunity to grow. That means that if you, we will make sure that we, as a networking and collaborative foundation for incubators, that you can drive your innovation at your best.
Wonderful. I don't think we need to say any more on that. Fantastic. Thanks, Annika. But Lotta, just briefly, do you have any other thoughts on how entrepreneurs can benefit from the innovation system?
Well, leveraging the tech transfer auspices at the universities and also the business incubators. And we should also mention Vinnova, the Swedish innovation funding agency, which invests more than 3 billion Swedish kronas annually into innovation in all sectors. And especially sort of if you want to make a collaboration between companies crossing sectors or crossing borders, that's sort of very well appreciated by the innovation agency. So leveraging all those stepping stones into the Swedish ecosystem is a good start.
Great, thanks. There's lots of ways in, and I think it's great you mentioned Vinnova as well. And of course, they're a big. They put them on this whole event with Sweden Innovation Days. So yeah, I think we're all grateful for Vinnova and the support they give to life science and digital health in Sweden. Okay, so we mentioned it briefly, but I thought it'd be great if we could just take a little moment to examine sector convergence. So the impact that's happening. So we're in West Sweden. We've got the automotive industry, Volvo are just around the corner. There's lots of IT and ICT companies here. What impact is sector convergence having on the life science and digital health industry here? Annika, why don't you go first?
I think that now it's really the time for life science and health innovation to really accelerate, because now all sectors are into the life science industry. And I will give you an example. We're having a company, inventor, that actually coming from the police area, looking to have found out the way to detect drug. And if we take that into a completely different sector, that would be not for the hospitals, that would be for the drivers, or that would be for schools to make sure that they have teachers and that not are on drugs. So all of a sudden we can go in and say, this invention has so much more potential than the original idea. And this is what brings the academia and industry and the life science sector so well together. It is now and here we can actually do this. We've been wanting it for years, but this is now when we can do it. So for everybody looking for this opportunity, I would urge you to actually come to Sweden and try out.
Wonderful. And you, just very briefly, I understand you have a background in both sort of from the IT industry, automotive industry, and now you're in healthcare. So what, like any particular perspectives you can bring on that?
I would say that taking the best from all and take the experiences that you have from different sectors and bring them into the new ideas, that's when the ideas really accelerate. It's not just from the starting point, it's how well you can accelerate the idea. That is the most important thing, is to make it grow.
Wonderful. Lotta, what ideas do you have when it comes to sector convergence?
Well, I want to give you an example of how we've sort of collaborated through various sectors. So we have the Testa Center in Uppsala, which is an innovation center to support life science industry and academic research. And we brought together also tech innovators and so technology innovators and digital innovators together with the life science innovation ecosystem. So we recently ran the Testa Challenge, so defined a number of questions and challenges that exist in the bioprocessing industry. And jointly we had 6 companies coming together from the US, UK, Denmark, Sweden, testing their sensors or their digital solutions together with the biology and life science team. So that was the Testa Challenge. And I want to show you a video on that from the company Unibap. So please take a look at the video.
Hello, I'm Dr. Fredrik Brun. I'm the Managing Director and one of the co-founders of Unibap in Sweden. We are a company taking innovative and state-of-the-art artificial intelligence to automation applications on ground and in space. And that's a rather unique combination. So how can we combine space and industry? The way we do that is that we look upon the system as very reliable standalone production units. So even if you have a standardized product flying in space or in industry, we provide the ability to do remote maintenance and really make sure that the systems can run in a self-contained environment. And this is highly applicable also to bioprocesses, where we have sterile environments where we need to guarantee the operation without having access to the system. Unibap is originally an academic spin-off, and we are now transitioning from being a startup company to a scale-up company. We have proven our technology in industrial applications as well as in space application through our space cloud solutions. And what we are doing now is to scale the business by applying our technology and knowledge into new areas such as bioprocesses. And this is rather interesting because there are many connections between these areas, and they could go down to one fact. And the fact is that you need to be able to run artificial intelligence inside the production lines without any external dependencies. And this is important. If you're going to produce maybe 5, 10, 20 million articles per year, you have to make sure that the factory is always operational. If you have dependencies outside your production line, you are very vulnerable to the execution of your operation. And that is something that we remove. We can deploy our artificial intelligent algorithms inside the factories at the production line. We call this virtual operators, where we train them to be similar to human operators. And we have this in high volume production today. It's very interesting to be part of the Testa Challenge because we can take our technology from other industrial domains into process industry, and especially bioprocesses. So we can now explore the possibility of using our artificial operators from different domains into bioprocesses. And this allows us to explore, for us, a whole new business area in terms of biotech.
Cool. So There's lots of videos. I said in the beginning there were going to be lots of videos, and so I think that's 3 we've had now. So cool, but it's great to see the breadth of the innovation in Sweden. Anders, just very quickly, if you have a few words to say on sector convergence, so what would your thoughts be there? I think you might be on mute, Anders. So.
Sorry, I was. Yeah. So thanks for asking, Jamie. I think this is an area I'm really passionate about, because this is where real innovation sits, bringing different ideas together, tearing down perceived boundaries between disciplines and making people talk to each other who may not necessarily be obvious to them. That's how new ideas are coming up. And this is actually already now, it's influencing our corporate strategy, I would say. And why is that? Well, it is because we are serious about our investments in digital health, because we see that this is value beyond the pill, and it includes everything from what are the capabilities we need in the future and also in the near future, and how do we source for those? Maybe not necessarily by recruiting, but basically by establishing new types of collaborations and partnerships. And in that setting also, what does the transformed healthcare look like, and what will be our competitors and partners in the future? But I'm quite positive on this, and because I say that if we now bring this back into the Swedish context, I think we are strong in ICT, we are strong in pharma, we are strong in medtech, and and we have a good heritage and a great approach to how we collaborate and find new partnerships. And it is that when we unify the different sectors, that's when transformative new ideas are coming up.
Wonderful. I think it's fantastic. So, and exactly that, you guys having your Sweden hat on. So you're all from separate innovation hubs, but you're collaborating, working together, and just, I think, like you said, Anders, that you're here, that you're, instead of just having a 30-minute presentation where you present the Testa Center or Salgrenska Science Park, we're here doing it together. And I think that's a little bit symbolic of how we act when it comes to the innovation system here. Okay, so we've looked at kind of some general questions. Now, I think it'd be fantastic if we take a little bit of a deeper dive into each of the flavors in the smorgasbord that we're showing today. And so, Lotta, why don't you kick us off and tell us a little bit more about Testa Center? I think you're on mute as well there. So. Can you hear us? Lotta, tell us about Testa Center.
Yes, thank you, Jamie. So Testa Center is a joint investment between the Swedish government and Cytiva to support growth of the life science industry. And this is both biology and technology and digital innovations, as we spoke of before. This center has been up and running for about 2 years, and we have supported more than 15 companies and a number of academic projects to take their next step into a more industrial setting. So it's really an industrial springboard to take on your commercialization journey in your next phase of the company, with the support and expertise of a strong team that's helping you in that journey. So, of course, we have a video to show about Testa Center. So let's look at the Testa Center video.
Sweden is a small country up in the north. However, it's a big life science nation. Behind its success, Sweden has a long history and culture of working closely together. The academia, healthcare, and life science industries work closely together. This has created new innovations, saving lives and alleviating symptoms for millions of patients globally.
Tystnadtagning.
Biological drugs and products are transforming medicine and promise future targeted treatments for a range of conditions. However, in order for these powerful products to benefit everyone in the world, new technologies, processes, and tools are needed to drastically improve efficiency of biological production.
The bioprocessing industry is growing rapidly. Nowadays, 8 out of 10 most sold drugs are biologics, and they are used to treat cancer and immune disorders that will help to promote global health. In Sweden and at Testa Center, we support development of new technology for the industry. Here you can be part of that journey to grow the life science industry.
In the heart of Uppsala, in a life science intensive hub, Testa Center was established as a joint effort from the Swedish government and the private company Cytiva to help researchers and companies succeed in the growing global market of biologics.
Testa Center is a true research facility for production of biological products. So going from lab scale to production scale takes time and money. And here in Testa Center, researcher has the ability to reduce risk in their project and by that increase the value of the project. To do those experiments yourself not only shows scalability, manufacturability, but it also builds competence within your team, which often is very important when you take the project forward.
In Testa Center, entrepreneurs and researchers come together to tackle some of the global health challenges of today, bridging the gap by supporting companies and researchers to verify their innovations, accelerate industrialization, and secure excellence.
So we get a lot of interests for Testa Center and the environment that we have here, both from academic groups, but also from commercial companies, startups, and larger companies. So the future looks really bright, I think, and I'm really looking forward to keep on running Testa Center together with researchers. So I think the team spirit in Testa Center is great. So we all work together and we all have a common goal. And you can really feel that in the interaction between both individuals but also projects.
Cool. It's great with these videos. It's like it feels like we're on the telly. Okay, who's next? Anders, tell us about the BioVentureHub, which is a company close to my heart, or an organization close to my heart.
We are the life science, so the MTV of life science, that's us. Yeah. So today, so the BioVentureHub, what is this? Well, the BioVentureHub has been in play for a little bit more than 5 years, and we have had more than 40 what we call scale-up companies that have been part of it. It is, if you take a step back, it's sort of a vehicle for us to challenge ourselves internally. Curiosity and science are the drivers. If the outcome is known or already committed, it's not for us, which means that we are set up for exploration, not exploitation. Because if there is a business case and we can agree that, okay, then it's for the traditional business to take care of, and not for us. And we are sort of the essence of sector convergence with a theme of focusing on what we call the 4 Ds, which is drugs, devices, diagnostics, and digital, and making sure that those comes together, not only for the benefit of AstraZeneca, but for the benefit of these scale-up companies, because having them together and with the transparency and then enriching that with additional capabilities from AstraZeneca, that's when we can really help these companies to grow. I have. And besides these companies, I should also mention that we have a couple of other big corporations that are actually part of the supporting the BioVentureHub. It's Mölnlycke Healthcare, it's Waters, and it's IBM as well. So their capabilities from an innovation point of view are accessible to the companies in the BioVentureHub. Just to give you one, I've already shared an example. We saw one of the videos, Mind for Scale Lab, being part of the BioVentureHub we recently joined. We have another one that's been there from much longer, that Antares Medical, which actually is an idea that 2 guys, our senior, in previously working in AstraZeneca, both in research and development, had on how imaging could be utilized to support drug development. And they created a partnership. They left AstraZeneca. They created a partnership with an academic group in Uppsala, and created Antares Medical, and is now a very successful business supporting numerous pharma companies in their drug development journeys. So with that, and of course we have a video described by BioVentureHub where you will have the pleasure to see both me and Jamie, but primarily two of our colleagues as well. So let's start the video.
The BioVentureHub is an open innovation ecosystem located at the heart of AstraZeneca's R&D site in Gothenburg, Sweden. And it's basically about applying the sharing economy to industry. It's about utilizing economy of scale in a large pharma company like AstraZeneca, and it is about combining it with our flexibility of resource utilization. As such, we can offer small emerging growth companies access to human capital and infrastructure that sits within industry. And in doing this, we have created a truly unique melting pot for innovation, where 4 different industry value chains meet in the same environment. So it's about blending digital with medtech, with drugs, with diagnostics. And this is the future of life science. It will be value beyond the pill itself. It will be about providing integrated solutions for the benefit of patients.
BioVentureHub is a sharing community, and by repurposing and sharing infrastructure, expertise and ideas, we support a sustainable growth of smaller companies. Our sustainability strategy is based on the same 3 pillars as AstraZeneca's. Thanks to the unique location here in Gothenburg, the BioVentureHub companies benefit directly from the R&D site's sustainability initiatives. And I'm really proud to be part of an environment that's actively helping to promote healthy business, healthy people, and a healthy planet.
So the BioVentureHub is an exceptional example of how a diverse team is fostering an open and inclusive culture. It's also clear how this culture facilitates collaboration, drives innovation, and exposes AstraZeneca to a wider diversity of science and ways of working. The BioVentureHub has accommodated no less than 41 emerging companies and academic groups. With their various expertise, the BioVentureHub is adding more ingredients and flavors to the smorgasbord of innovation that is being catalyzed here.
Digital health, which is where healthcare, technology, data, and analytics converge, has great promises. The United Nations World Health Organization believes that it will have the opportunity to transform healthcare for everyone, and so do we. But we can't do it on our own. It takes capabilities from both pharma and from digital to unite. And if you're as passionate as us about making this reality, then the BioVentureHub might be the place for you.
Great. Okay, that was the BioVentureHub. I know those guys well. Okay, but last but not least, so Annika, just very, very briefly, can you tell us a little bit about Salgrenska Science Park? And I'm sure you're going to show us a video as well.
Yes, I will. So I will be very short because I think the video will be very informative. But Salgrenska Science Park is a non-profit health innovation open arena, and we have some 90 companies sitting in our facilities. But we are not only having companies on premises, but we also have a broad community of startups and scale-ups. We normally work with around 25-ish startup at the same time, and we go but they are all in the community or all in our park. And I will now show you a video from Salgrenska Science Park, introduced by our CEO Lotta Gummesson.
Salgrenska Science Park aims to accelerate health innovation. Our home is in West Swedish life science, but we take a global approach to understand and utilize opportunities, networks, and knowledge. At Salgrenska Science Park, we catalyze innovation, renewal, and competitiveness.
We catalyze the start and development of companies, and we catalyze the collaboration between industry, academia and healthcare. And we always do this to enable a more prosperous society. In many ways, we are a virtual science park. We operate where there is a need and when there is a need.
You could say that Salgrenska Science Park connects the dots. We use our non-profit approach, coupled with broad cross-sector experience, and an exceptional network allowing us to provide a display window to West Swedish life science. Salgrenska Science Park provides an open arena for everyone in life science. We organize events and seminars, give tailored support through our skilled business advisors, offer a sought-after accelerator program, and we lead an abundance of health innovation projects in collaboration with partners across industry, academia, healthcare, and other public players. One of these projects is the groundbreaking hackathon initiative, Into Health, where innovators, entrepreneurs, industry, and researchers are introduced to unmet needs in healthcare. Our speciality is the fast-growing field of health tech, where we can draw on West Sweden's world-leading mobility and ICT industry and connection to Health Tech Nordic, one of the world's largest network of digital health startups.
Salgrenska Science Park have been a great help for us in business development and in building contacts and financial help as well.
A lot of things that we have achieved that take so much longer time if it weren't for an incubator program such as Salgrenska Science Park.
But don't just take our word for it. Here's what others say. We offer an ecosystem for innovators and businesses to collaborate and grow within. If you have an ambition to accelerate health innovation, you will definitely find something useful at Salgrenska Science Park.
Join us, and together we make a world-class life science region with sustainable and competitive companies on a global market.
Fantastic. It's great to see Salgrenska Science Park, and it's wonderful to see these videos from the innovation hubs as well. I'm sure that you can subscribe to them somewhere after this as well. So if you haven't got enough of them now, you can see them again later. So I actually think our time has run out for the discussions. Again, I think it's been fantastic to see the three innovation hubs here. We represent East, West, South, and we also in spirit represent the north of Sweden as well. And just to give a flavor of the fact we're collaborating, we welcome entrepreneurs from outside Sweden to come here, and we'll help you out. So if you come to one of us, we'll make sure you end up in the right place. So before we just do a final wrap up, I thought we could go over to the Q&A session. So again, please, if you have some questions, use the chat function on Hopin. We'd love to hear your comments, your views, your thoughts, your ideas. We're here to answer them for you.
Hello, and thank you, Gothenburg. That was a fantastic session. I really enjoyed it. I have actually a couple of questions, and I'm asking Annika, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Oh, great. I cannot see you, unfortunately, from stage here, so I'm a little bit blind at the moment. I'm sure that will sort out very soon. But my first question to you, Annika. Now, great. Hello. I see all of you. Happy. Wonderful. My first question to you, Annika, is how can you help companies to go international?
Going international, we provide senior expert coaching in market readiness to make sure that all our startup understand the challenge, the business rules, the landscape and regulations in order for them to succeed in different markets. But primarily, we have been building up relationship in key markets with the national and local care providers and have a good insights of healthcare systems in these markets. But having built up these relationships, I think also within building up a relationship with international hubs gives us the opportunity to provide not only possible sales opportunities, but also having the ability to try out new test beds, getting new networks and international investors. So that's what we try to support with.
Great. That sounds like all the support one startup and scale up would need actually to go international and to reach the new markets. So I hope that this session also, all of you viewing, that you really take this opportunity to get in touch with all the fantastic innovation hubs in this session to actually utilize and make use of the new contacts. So Lotta, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you are well.
I am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, actually, the sun is out in Stockholm, finally. I've been here since 6 o'clock in the morning, and the first session I was like, okay, it's really still night, but yeah. So thank you for a wonderful morning session. I'm really happy that you have been the one opening these sessions today. I have one question for you, Lotta. How does it work with the small companies' IPs?
Thank you, and I've seen we've gotten the same question from the chat as well. It's very simple. You own your IP. When you join, you own the IP you generate, and there's no strings attached. So even though Testa Center is a private-public partnership, Cytiva, the private company, has no rights to any IP that you as an entrepreneur generate. So no first right of refusal or anything. So it's a very open facility, and everything you generate, you own. So simple.
That seems quite easy.
Yes.
And a very generous environment to be in.
I think that's the only way you can operate as an innovation center supporting startups, because that's the most important thing you generate. That's your IP. That's what you build your company on. So we built a very simple model. We collaborate, we support you, but you own it.
Perfect.
Can I just make a quick comment? And it's the same principle for the BioVentureHub as well. Those companies we have in the BioVentureHub, they own their IP. So just making that clear.
Yeah, and that's absolutely crucial. I mean, a lot of these relationships are built on trust. And if you can't trust this foundation when working or being close to the startups, then it will probably be very, very difficult. And I know that you all are really building a trustful foundation and relationship with the startups. And we need more large companies like you with this approach. So, Anders, are you with me? Hi. I have a slight delay here, so it's a little bit. But I have a question for you. What does success look like in your hubs? What does success look like?
Great question. Success.
When do you celebrate?
Celebration. It's rewarding enough, and it's success to see these entrepreneurs coming with passion and then turning it into realization. And we have several examples of companies who start with just a couple of individuals who have grown a lot and are now successful on an international market. So that's essentially what it is.
Great, thank you. And Lotta and Anders, what strings do AstraZeneca and Cytiva attach to the companies in the BioVentureHub or the Testa Center? How does that look like? Did you understand the question?
Maybe, Stina, I can jump in, and I think Lotta referred to that a little bit earlier, that when it comes to IP, that the companies, they own their own rights to their IP in the respective innovation hubs at Testa Center and also the BioVentureHub. I actually think it's quite interesting with Salgrenska Science Park. So maybe I can jump in and ask Annika. So Salgrenska Science Park is like a non-profit organization with public owners. So how does that work?
Well, that works very well. We are a very open arena. We have both a science park, we have a community, and we have our incubator. So by that said, we work closely together with all other incubators in the Western Sweden, but also all the science park. And we work on a national level with all the incubators and the science parks. And being here today is a proof of that Sweden works very well together, and the whole ecosystem that we are part of is what makes actually innovation success for Sweden.
Thank you. Salgrenska Science Park, you're also a member, a co-host of Ignite, actually. So you are the Gothenburg outpost for Ignite, but also for life science. And I also know that you are part of a very strong incubator network called Alice in Sweden, with all the great life science incubators. So I think you're doing a fantastic job on a national level as well. And we are super grateful for having one of your team members on our team, Magnus Bergendahl. So I would like to ask all of you, what's the best thing about Sweden? If you should pick one thing, what's the absolute best with Sweden?
I can go first then. So I'm originally from England, and now living and working in Sweden.
You're the right person to answer that question. We are so humble in Sweden, so we don't really, we do not ever brag. But you can brag.
I'm good at bragging. No, I think there's two things for me. One is just the diversity from east, west, south, and north. So the mountains in the north, and Skåne in the south, Stockholm in the east, and Gothenburg and Värmland in the west. I think the diversity there is fantastic. But then I think above all for me, is the fresh air. You can breathe here and get out in the nature, and that, for me, that's what it is. I don't know about the rest of you. What do you think?
Well, I think that we have a very welcoming atmosphere. We're only 10 million people, so we're very interesting in other people and other nationalities. And I think that we really embrace diversity, and we are a little bit of a tech nerdy people. We like innovations.
And I would add quality of life. You can have a great quality in life combining your passion for technology or innovations together with building a strong culture together with your family. That is, we're doing things together in Sweden. I think that's a strong word for me.
Yeah, nature, fresh air, and trust and collaboration. And I must say, having lived and worked in a global metropolitan area, it's the closeness to nature that even if you're in the city center or Gothenburg or Stockholm, nature is always very close. So that's the big one. I know what's not the best one, and that's the weather and the lack of daylight in November. So.
Yeah, before the snow, it's pretty depressive actually. I'm totally.
Maybe I can add one more thing: the innovative culture. I think that comes with being a small country. You need to identify new ideas, new ways of working. You need to embrace new technology. You need to embrace new interactions and collaboration partners. So I think that goes into the innovative culture of our country.
Absolutely, and I can only agree. And as a startup, being a startup in Sweden, that's also why the market is always global from day one. So that's what you aim for, because 10 million, as you all understand in the audience, it's never enough for a scaling startup to build their success on. So, and we are doing this together, and we need to work together in order to achieve this. So yeah, I'm also very proud of the togetherness, and also very happy of being close to the nature, of course. So our time is, I think, about to run up. And lastly, if one of you now, okay? So I will actually ask Lotta. I'm sorry, now I'm just, focusing. If I would be a startup interested in establishing in Sweden and getting into contact tomorrow, what should I do? Within your areas of interest, of course. What do I do?
Contact any tech transfer office or any incubator in the life science field, and we will help you to find the best way in Sweden to fit your company idea and the expertise you require to grow. So we collaborate and we work across borders. So just contact any one of us. Google and you'll find us, and we'll help you.
Great. Thank you. But you can also use the chat here and you will stay for a while, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So already a few interactions with that. So.
That's good. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for this very inspirational morning session. I'm super happy to have had you with us this morning. And thank you also for all your support during these 3 days, because all of you have been crucial to make this success that we are still hoping it to be also by the end of the day. So thank you so much. And
thank you.
See you soon again, I hope.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.